Today, the U.S. national soccer team makes their network television debut. Last year, John Harkes scored twice as the United States won the inaugural U.S. Cup. And with all of their players back from Europe, including prolific goal scorer Wynalda, the U.S. hopes are higher than ever. Team captain Tony Meola is once again coming up big in the big games. The veteran keeper had 15 saves against England. Now it's time to come up big against the defending world champs, Germany.
Saw last year in the U.S. Cup last year that we were very competitive, and we can go out and play against the Italys and the Portugals and the Irelands of the world, and here we are up against Germany, the best of the best.
After 387 scoreless minutes, the U.S. rediscovered its offense last Wednesday against England, stunning the Brits 2-0 and giving the U.S. soccer team their biggest celebration ever. And we welcome you to Soldier Field in Chicago, where 50,000 tickets have been sold for this game between the United States and Germany, their first meeting ever. And hi, everybody. I'm Roger Twibble, and we welcome you here to ABC Sports on a hazy Sunday afternoon in Chicago, Illinois. The United States and Germany, two teams that have already qualified for World Cup '94, which will kick off right here in Soldier Field next June 17th. This is U.S. Cup '93. The United States, the defending champion, and three world-class teams competing along with the U.S. That's Brazil, Germany, and England. The U.S. lost to Brazil in their opening game and came back with a stunning upset over England last Wednesday night in Foxborough. And one of my colleagues working alongside today, former U.S. team captain, a professional for 13 years, many of those with the Cosmos, Rick Davis. And Rick, how big a win was that for the U.S. up in Foxborough?
Roger, to try and put it in proper perspective, the last time the United States beat England was way back in 1950. In England, with the newspapers, they're posting wanted signs for head coach Graham Taylor, dead or alive. It was a stunning upset for the United States team, possibly the U.S. sending a signal to the rest of the world. Today's game, well, we've got to expect some from the same from Ramos and Tom Dooley. These two guys were the catalysts that made things happen for the U.S. team, so it's important that they come up big in today's game. Also joining us on our broadcast today is a gentleman that knows a lot about world soccer. He's covered 4 of the 5 last World Cups, Seamus Mallon. Seamus, what do you expect from Germany today?
Well, Germany is a defending world champion, but they had to come up with 3 late goals to tie Brazil on Thursday, and 2 of those goals came from Jürgen Klinsmann, including the tying goal in the very last minute of play. Now, dealing with his speedy, skillful, and tenacious attacking style is going to be a major challenge for defenders of the U.S. today.
Thanks, Seamus, and we'll be back with the start of the match after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
World Cup Soccer. Call now for tickets. 800-769-1994. 800-769-1994. World Cup Soccer. Don't miss it for the world. Call now for tickets. 800-769-1994.
Brought to you by World Cup USA '94. Don't miss it for the world. By Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing. Always Coca-Cola. By Sprint. By GMC Truck, the official vehicle of World Cup '94. And by Budweiser. Fresh, pure, natural. Proud to be your bud.
Welcome back here to Soldier Field in Chicago. Right now, let's take a look at the starting lineups. First for the United States, and they'll go this way. The goalkeeper is Tony Meola. The defenders, Lapper, Doyle, Agus, Armstrong, Clavijo. The midfielders are Dooley, Harkes, Ramos, and Wegerle, and up front is Wynalda. Meanwhile, for the Germans, the keeper is Andreas Köpke. The defenders, Kohler, Buchwald, and Schulz. In the middle, Effenberg, Matthäus, Bein, Ziege, and Strunz. And up front, Riedle and Klinsmann. Those are the lineups today for the United States and Germany. And we'd like to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, Coca-Cola, GMC Trucks, Budweiser, Sprint, and the ISL for bringing the action of today's game commercial-free. The referee in this game today, Juan Lasta of Argentina, and the linesmen, Jose Mendez and Eduardo Rodriguez of Argentina and Uruguay, respectively. And there's a look at Tony Meola, the keeper for the United States. Such a big game against England with 15 saves the other night. from Kearney, New Jersey. This is his 68th international appearance for the United States. Versatile athlete, drafted by the New York Yankees, played at the University of Virginia. Field is in beautiful shape here at Soldier Field in Chicago. Lights are turned on here. A rather hazy day as you take a look at the keeper for Germany there just a moment ago, Andreas Köpke. Strunz, there's Köpke, acrobatic keeper. Participating and bringing you today's game is Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola, and we are underway from Soldier Field in Chicago. The United States in the white jerseys, Germany in the green jerseys. Germany opened up with Brazil in Washington, D.C. on Thursday after falling behind 3-0 at halftime. They came back with 3 second-half goals. 2 points awarded a victory, 1 point for a draw. And immediately the United States trying to move the ball downfield and get an aggressive framework. The throw-in coming from the far side. Rick Davis, the United States. Will they try to be more aggressive offensively after scoring those 2 goals against England the other night?
I think that they have a tremendous amount of confidence going in today's game simply because of the way that they played against England.
Riedle being marked by Desmond Armstrong, tripped up by Doyle from behind. And the ball kicked across the near side touchline. Seamus, after that 3-3 tie, the framework, the mindset of the German team.
Well, I think they felt that they did extremely well to get back in the game against Brazil on a very hot day, 95 degrees. But they will show, I think, the usual kind of German qualities of excellent technique on the ball, never say die spirit, and they put a lot of pressure on the United States midfield to try to win that ball early and counterattack out of midfield.
That was Desmond Armstrong you saw right there. One of the backline people for the United States. Armstrong out of Columbia, Maryland, member of the U.S. national team, has played down in Brazil professionally. 28 years of age, his 58th international appearance, taking the place of Marcelo Balboa, who is out with a knee injury, tore his right anterior cruciate ligament, but his recovery is coming fine, and he should be back this fall for the United States team. The clock, which you see in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, and we remind you, this game is commercial-free during action. That is the unofficial time. The official time is kept down on the field. But that'll give you a pretty good indication where we stand in this first half. That'll count upward from 0 to 45 minutes as the Germans now, long crossing ball to the far side. The United States likes to pack it in. Clavijo is able to tackle it away, and a nice job by the oldest member of the U.S. national team, 36-year-old Fernando Clavijo.
A nice job for Fernando to recover, but he got caught doing a little bit of ball watching. Once again, watch Fernando look at the ball. You always have to track your man, so the man gets in behind him, but with his speed, he's able to recover and make a block.
Corner being taken by Germany, the first corner kick of the match, and headed out by Harkes. But Germany is able to maintain control. Bein came down with it. Köpke and Meola, the 2 keepers in this game. Köpke with just his 10th international appearance for Germany. And off the foul, the United States will take over. Thomas Dooley playing with a very sore right ankle as Wynalda gets chased, and a sliding tackle by Jürgen Kohler. And the United States will come away with the throw-in from the near side.
Jürgen Kohler, one of the few German players that Wynalda doesn't see in Germany because Kohler plays in Italy for Juventus.
Ball taken away by the Germans. Klinsmann doing battle with Mike Lapper there.
Well, doing battle is right. You see Klinsmann there. He is very much a battler. He's got very good skill at scoring, but he's also a tremendously competitive young man and a quite interesting character that we'll talk about later in the telecast.
Seamus, we've seen a lot of long passes across the field by the Germans in the early going.
That's right. I mean, they're very good at possession soccer, and also, Roger, they're tremendously patient. If they don't see anything nearby, then they'll go to the far side, swing it around over there, get some extra players on the far side, and then try to take advantage of the United States defense, maybe being lured out of position a little bit.
Early on, it's important to note that we see two interesting matchups evolving out there. Number one is Mike Lapper matching up with Klinsmann, and then in turn also John Doyle matching up with Karl-Heinz Riedle.
Oh, a chance there for Dooley. He overran the ball, and the Germans get it back with Effenberg. Now the long ball down the near side to Klinsmann. He had 2 goals against Brazil in that 3-3 tie. He's being marked by 2 men, Agus and Lapper over there. And Strunz has it taken away. Klinsmann gets it back. The centering ball, and the United States able to clear it out, not far enough though, as the Germans come back with it.
Well, the United States needs possession too, and they've got to avoid the tendency to just simply knock it away and relieve a little bit of pressure, because inevitably against a team as strong in the middle as Germany is, that ball is going to come right back into your own penalty area.
Meola told me the other day that since that victory over England, Seamus, a number of teams from Great Britain have called inquiring about his services. He was fantastic.
He was sensational that night. Absolutely. I think it's the best game I've ever seen Tony Meola play. And the English coaching staff, too, was very high in their praises for his performance. Not surprised they're interested in him in Europe.
There's a look at Thomas Dooley. Interesting story, Dooley. Grew up in Germany, American father. Always wanted to come to the United States, and about a year and a half ago it was discovered because he has an American father, he could get his American citizenship, and he got the goal the other night, the first goal, as the tackle in the box, and a beautiful job right there by the United States and John Harkes. It is rough and tumble. That was Christian Ziege who took it away from Ramos, and Ziege making the run. Lapper gets a foot on it. John Doyle with a nice tackle, and Clavijo comes away, and the ball sent up to Wynalda at midfield. We're not seeing the early pressure, Rick, from the Germans like we saw from the Brazilians and the English side against the United States.
The tournament represents 3 very different styles in the teams that the United States has had to play against. Germany, something in between the Brazilians and the English, although they will put pressure on you and they'll kill you if they get a chance.
A nice ball right there. Agus trying to get it away. Armstrong sends it out. And the United States will take control. Dangerous situation. Uwe Bein, number 15 for the German side. And this is Tab Ramos, who has it tackled away, and a throw-in for the United States on the far side.
Well, there we did see a little pressure, because you saw Guido Buchwald coming up from his sweeper position. He's supposed to be the last defender. There you saw him going all the way forward to put pressure on Tab Ramos on that far side and try to win it early. There's Guido Buchwald. He has marked some pretty important players in his life, none more famous than Maradona, whom he went one-on-one against in the '90 World Cup final.
His 63rd international appearance, or cap. Where did that term cap come from?
Well, in the very old days, they literally used to give a cap to a player for the honor of playing his country, and that was it. That was your prize.
Instead of money.
A souvenir of the occasion, yes, a fancy, very trendy cap in the 19th century, and so they still use that term.
Man tackled over on the far side. Roy Wegerle was brought down on the far side by number 14, Michael Schulz. Schulz is a big, aggressive defender.
Gives them a lot of power and height at the back of that defense. And the German central defense was a bit shaky, very shaky, in fact, against Brazil.
So off the free kick. Ramos inside, headed out, and the Germans take control. So the Germans very methodical in their attack. They're a very patient club, as we saw, Seamus, against Brazil.
Yes, indeed, very methodical. But here's a good break for the U.S. out of midfield.
Trying to send it to Wegerle. He finally comes up with it. Now Wegerle in the middle, tackled from behind. And nicely done there by the German Stefan Effenberg. Number 2 is Effenberg. United States in their international record 2-5-9 this year, with victories, of course, over England just this last week, but before that, all the way back on April 9th against Saudi Arabia. And Rick, a lot of people were becoming very concerned with when the U.S. was going to win a game, even though they had had 9 draws.
There's been a lot of concern, primarily because they aren't scoring goals, and the competition that they've been up against has not been of the caliber that we see here in this tournament. The positive thing, though, and speaking with Bora, is that he considers himself to have 2 very distinctive teams. When he has his full complement of players, he claims his record is 3 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie.
Well, and that would go back to U.S. Cup of last year, and then the game the other night. Bora Milutinovic, the head coach for the United States, he will be the first man ever to take 3 different countries to the World Cup. He did it with Mexico, he did it with Costa Rica, and now the United States, of course, being the host team, he will take the U.S. to World Cup '94. And as we mentioned, Germany, of course, is qualified because they are the defending Seamus World Champions.
Yes, indeed. There's some discussion about whether or not that's a bit of a disadvantage. Franz Beckenbauer was quoted as saying that he'd rather have qualifying games to play because it makes for better preparation. The players, of course, say, well, thank you, we'll take the free ride.
Bertie Folks is the head coach for the German national team. As you mentioned, that's one of the problems for Germany, not having enough good quality play before the World Cup of '94. So this is a very big tournament for them, playing England and Brazil and the United States.
That's right. And another indication of that is the German Federation, for the first time ever, is giving bonuses for winning this tournament. This is as they say, a friendly tournament, but they are on 35,000 marks apiece.
22,000 American dollars.
22,000 American dollars they win. That's unheard of in a tournament like this. That tells you how much they feel this is important for them.
And Seamus, in my particular opinion, there is no such thing as an international friendly.
Doyle having some problems down in the corner. Desmond Armstrong with it now off the back of a German player. It'll be a throw-in coming up for the United States. How about the money for the U.S., Rick? How much do they get?
Well, it's hard to actually get a definitive answer because our program is somewhat unique in the world. We have our players full-time training in Mission Viejo year-round, and so many of them are actually drawing salaries. It's expected that they'll receive somewhere between a $3,000 and a $5,000 bonus per player if they should win this, which in the scope of the soccer circles, that's a very, very significant bonus.
Ball comes to the near side. Strunz sends it back. Guido Buchwald into the box. The centering ball, great job by John Doyle right there. Doyle came up big as Effenberg put the ball in position for his teammate Riedle. And a good defender and a big defender is once again the Germans with Riedle off one of his players. The shot, and just wide. Uwe Bein was the man, number 15, that got a foot on it, and all of a sudden, Germany, very methodical, has had 3 good chances.
Very methodical that they are. Very, very solid play defensively by the United States, because on the rebound here, Tony Meola is completely helpless to make the save there with it deflecting off one of his defenders and going out of bounds for a corner.
Watch the tall players for Germany in the middle of the goal area here. Number 14 in particular, Schulz, the defender, is right in the heart of the goal area.
Lothar Matthäus to take the corner, and now the referee having a few words with the German player who was standing right in front of Meola. That was Schulz.
That was in Spanish.
That was it, yeah. So was he talking to Fernando, I wonder?
Matthäus to take the corner. Meola in trouble. Was the ball across? Oh! It looked like it was in, and it is. It's a goal. A goal for Germany off the corner kick.
I don't know, Rick. I think Tony Meola may have been impeded going for this ball and ran into Schulz, but he didn't get to it, and I think it was really his ball. Let's take a look.
I think Tony simply misjudges this ball because it goes over his head, and now he's off the line. He's helpless. Ball deflects off of a couple of players, gets in past the goal line. The way the rule is that once the ball has crossed the line or crossed the plane that exists with the line there, it is in fact a goal.
It was right on the line. It looked like it. Klinsmann, Jürgen Klinsmann, now with his 3rd goal in 2 games, puts Germany ahead. 14-minute mark of the first half. And Germany has jumped on top of the United States, and Riedle for Germany. He's open in the box. Clavijo marking him, and Dooley will take it out, and Riedle is down. It looked like Doyle gave him a pretty good shot. Karl-Heinz Riedle took a pretty good shot. Clavijo and Doyle were both right there, and no foul called on the play.
That's right. I think he may have caught an elbow as he went by Dooley. Let's see this little attempt by Riedle to get by. There's one cut, and there's the elbow actually from Clavijo, just swinging around and catching with the elbow. And then Thomas Dooley, the United States player, knocked that ball out of bounds, essentially giving a throw-in to Germany at this point. But in the courtesy of this game now, we'll see if the Germans actually give that ball back to the U.S. on the throw-in. That's kind of an unwritten expectation, that if you kick a ball out to help an injured opponent get treatment, that you get the ball back when play is resumed.
Might have. Well, he has some blood coming off his lip there, so Riedle back on his feet, and now the referee ordering the trainers for Germany off the field. And as Shaman mentioned, it will be a throw-in coming up for Germany. And now they've thrown it over the goal line, Rick.
Which is to give the United States team a goal kick. But once again, what Seamus had said, it is a sportsmanship type of a gesture where Thomas Dooley intentionally had kicked it out of bounds. The Germans recognized that and then therefore gave it back to them.
Rick, what happened to the U.S. defense there on those last 2 or 3 chances for Germany?
They were a little bit unorganized. They had lost their matchups because the ball was kind of a scramble inside the penalty area. And when you start scrambling, people just basically cover anybody they can. And so the matchups that I'd mentioned earlier on, Lapper with Klinsmann and Doyle with Riedle, they lost those and people were left open.
So the United States falls behind 1-0, and so far in this game, the majority of play has been down near the United States goal, and Tony Meola has had lots of pressure. He's used to that. Germany's had 4 shots so far in this game. The United States has not taken a shot. And another long ball across the field, but Clavijo will head it back to the near side. Agus can't get a hold of it. And Germany with Thomas Strunz and Lothar Matthäus, number 10 right there. Now into the box, and Lapper off his head. So pressure on the United States defense. But Rick, they keep a lot of people back, don't they?
They keep a lot of people back, and the problem that the United States team is having is once the defenders such as Mike Lapper, we get a look at there, once he wins the ball, he has nobody open to make that outlet pass to alleviate the pressure defensively.
Taken away by Agus. Agus, one of the young American players who is from Dallas, Texas, has showed very well so far in this U.S. Cup. Agus just 25 years of age, is Ramos and Harkes, and back to Agus with the long ball to Wegerle and Wynalda now. Participating in bringing you today's game is Snickers, the official snack food of the 1994 World Cup. Packed with peanuts, Snickers really satisfies. And Adidas. Adidas is out to change soccer in America. The next segment of the game is presented commercial-free by GMC Truck, the official vehicle of World Cup '94, and the United States with a corner kick.
This is a set play which represents an opportunity for people like John Doyle and Mike Lapper to move forward. Expect them to be on the end of this cross.
Ramos, the first corner kick for the U.S., and once again Germany defends it awfully well, and the United States not able to keep possession. And another long crossing ball. Schulz is down there off his head. Schulz about 6'4" tall, 205 pounds, and a very wiry, lean, strong, aggressive defender. As once again a long ball now. A lot of crosses, Seamus, by the German side.
Absolutely. They see a lot of congestion in front, so they go wide.
Riedle, the header off the post. Meola might have gotten a hand on it, but off the post, and a frustrated look on the face of Tony Meola.
And we talked about Klinsmann at the top, about being the danger man, but this man, Riedle, is also devastating in the air. This is his main attacking skill. Look at this Effenberg with a very good ball all the way across. A super jump by Riedle, and aiming for the far post, which is what you want to do. He aims very well, but not quite in the corner. But that sends a message to the American defense about Riedle's ability in the air.
Wegerle giving chase with Schulz in front of him. one man. Ramos inside, the shot, save. Beautiful job by Köpke there as Thomas Dooley, who has played in the Bundesliga for so many years, had the best chance for the United States so far. Clavijo heads it back to midfield. Wegerle, a nice touch.
Well, that's why Dooley is so important to this team, because he is playing a defensive midfield role, but he also is free to go forward when he sees the opening. And his timing of his run there was just excellent, because it caught the Germans by surprise. They did not mark him coming out of midfield.
Rick, the key, Tab Ramos. It seems like when he can get his foot on the ball, things happen.
When you can get the ball to a guy like Tab Ramos, you know things are going to happen. Tab clicked for both assists on the goals against England. They're almost setting up another one.
Uwe Bein started it. Riedle sends it across, and Meola will give chase and come up with it. So Ramos, who played at North Carolina State, really got things started for the U.S.
The important thing is Tab giving himself a little bit of time to play with the ball. Beats one defender. Now he's got time and space. He slots the ball in behind the defenders for Thomas Dooley. Thomas's shot just saved.
Matthäus was also there for the Germans.
Yes, but the key thing is Matthäus was arriving almost a bit late, and that tells you a little bit about Dooley's ability to break out of that midfield sort of unseen. Matthäus, a great athlete and recovers well, but Matthäus isn't the 25-year-old he was when he was marking Maradona. He's into his 30s now.
It was interesting to note there was another German player between the ball and the goal behind that sequence, so they know how to defend awfully well. That's why they're the defending world champions. So after a rather slow start, as you take a look at 17, Christian Ziege. See that cast on his left hand? There was some question, Seamus, whether he would play today.
Exactly. We were a little bit surprised to hear that he would play after that injury against Brazil, but he's a very important player on the left side of midfield for them, because you saw a lot of high balls being played over to him. That's because of his speed and his good technique.
Well, this is a big game for him. His first international appearance, a member of Bayern Munich, as the midfield area being controlled at the moment by the Germans. Effenberg gets the ball down, but kicked away by Doyle as Harkes has it blocked to the near side. The United States will have a throw-in.
But an interesting that John Doyle did a good job there, Rick, and I think 2 years ago might have kicked that out of bounds.
It's important for the United States team to keep pressure. That's a great point, Seamus. When you win the ball, you want to instigate attack rather than turn it over.
Effenberg, Armstrong awning. Offsides. First offsides call of the day. Germany once again gets it back. Riedle, always there. Now the two men collide for Germany. Effenberg, the shot, the save by Meola. How fast is that coming in there, Rick Davis?
You're looking at about 90, 95 miles per hour. He hit it a ton, and boy, he hit it on the money.
Seamus, we were standing behind the German goal in practice yesterday, and in all seriousness, a ball came flying over, and it literally could cause serious injury to someone not paying attention.
A couple of those whistled very close, and I mean whistled very close to us in practice yesterday. And that's Effenberg style. Number 2, that blonde who's not playing in Fiorentina, loves to come up and shoot.
Schulz headed that ball back out, but in the box, the U.S. battling. A real struggle, no call. And it looked as though Harkes was looking for a call, and he quit battling for it, Rick.
He was trying to get around the German defender, not quite able to do so, and I think felt that he was being impeded and trying to just simply get around the player.
Harkes can't get to it, and Germany once again with control. See the running time nearing the 30-minute mark in the first half.
U.S. tactics to delay a little bit here, not rush in and get beaten easily, but retreat and get players back.
Riedle got ahead on it, but Doyle able to clear it out to the near side. Strunz sends it back, and once again, Germany does such a great job, Seamus, of regrouping. When they can't find anything, able to maintain control and send it back out and start again.
Yeah, and the U.S. tactic, I think, Rick, must be to lay off some of this and not get sucked into midfield with unnecessary challenges, because you can get burned with speed if you do that.
And they are, Seamus. I think also what's happening is the problem that continues to persist, and when the United States team wins the ball defensively, they simply don't have enough time to find the outlet passes to make and therefore are in turn turning the ball right back over to the German team.
Strunz and Agus collided, and there's Uwe Bein. He's been over receiving some treatment. Very hot, humid day here in Chicago. A little bit of a breeze coming off the lake. Nothing like the temperature of Washington last Thursday. So long ball coming down to Wegerle. Off the chest, a shot to center, the score! And look who it is, Thomas Dooley.
Cross from the far side by Ramos. Roy controlling the ball, turns like goal scorers do to shoot the ball at the goal. His shot is errant, but goes across the mouth of the goal for Thomas Dooley to redirect. Once again, excellent control by Roy Wegerle. His shot across the mouth of the goal. Thomas Dooley doing what he does so well, Seamus. You mentioned it, timing his runs forward.
A tremendous run by Dooley, getting by Guido Buchwald, who was the sweeper. He outpaced him, victimized Germans, and the Germans had 10 players on the field at that point because the injured player Bein had not come back on. So there was a bit of a space in the middle. Buchwald did not fill it up, and good old Tom Dooley saw that space, raced through it, and got a super cross from Wegerle. But what an excellent goal by the United States.
At approximately 24:40, the goal by Tom Dooley, who got the first goal the other night against England, as the ball sent across, and the header right there, Klinsmann sends it over the goal line, and so the United States and Germany tied up at a goal apiece. And what a terrific story as you take a look at Klinsmann is Thomas Dooley, 32 years of age, his father an American serviceman from Albany, Oregon, who after a year with his family in Germany went to the United States and never came back. Yet this young man always said he felt like an American growing up. And as a matter of fact, he drives a Corvette in Germany. And he wants so badly to come to the United States and to play for the U.S. team and be a part of this country. We talked to him yesterday. He's very emotional about it. And as we've seen in the game against England, as we've seen today, good things happen when he's in there. And folks, he's playing on a very, very tender right ankle. That was off the right ankle of Dooley.
Yeah,
that shot came in there off the right ankle of Dooley from Stefan Effenberg, and he is walking it off right now. There was not a way in the world, Rick Davis, that he wasn't going to play today.
Not a chance. Imagine the emotions inside his head, having the opportunity to play against the country that he plays his club ball in.
The corner touch, the curving shot across, dangerous ball as Harkes sends it out, and a U.S. player down back on the goal line for the United States. Back there is Wynalda. Wynalda is down back by the goal line, and we've got injury time right now as the referee standing over Wynalda. Wynalda, the young man who had such a great start, Seamus, in the Bundesliga this last year. He had 8 goals in the first half of the season before some minor injuries and a couple of other things. The winter got in his way. A lot of snow over there. He had never played in snow before and had a tough time adjusting to it. And it's amazing that Thomas Dooley is even playing today, because Wednesday night this was the injury in Foxborough.
That was Paul Ince, the captain of England, coming in and really doing a number on that right ankle of Dooley. And the day after, it looked like it was impossible that he would play. But he desperately wants to do well in this game, and there was no way he was not going to make it. And to score the opening goal, I mean, what a tremendous thing for him to score the opening U.S. goal. Wynalda back on his feet, which is good news. There he is. Started out at San Diego State and showed enormous promise there. Went to Germany, which was exactly the right thing for him to do, because there he learned some discipline in his game and got his head together a little bit and has developed into a seasoned professional at a young age.
Also having some difficulty out on the field. He's down right now. They're treating Roy Wegerle. Nasty little cut there. On the inside of his right knee. Wegerle, of course, from Europe, playing at Coventry City, and
Wegerle, of course, an integral part in that first U.S. goal.
Well, Tab puts this ball on the money, crossing it all the way to the other side of the field. The intent changed the focal point of the attack, finding Roy Wegerle, who plays the ball back across the mouth of the goal for that perfectly timed run.
What quality. That goal was all quality. That finish by Dooley, but the play by Wegerle was superb. His chest trap and quick half volley on the ground was excellent.
Setting that goal up, Tab Ramos, who plays for Real Betis in Spain, to Roy Wegerle from Coventry City in England, to Thomas Dooley from Kaiserslautern in Germany, but 3 American players who play overseas, as we're seeing more and more. John Harkes, the first American ever to play in an FA Cup final. And Rick, I think when you play with players at a high level, they bring the rest of their teammates' game up to that level or near it too.
Roger, no question about it. That's why it gives a lot of testimony to what Bora says when he says that his team with these guys are much better with them there.
Effenberg has it knocked away, so the United States back in this game, tied at 1 after some injury time. Wynalda from Westlake Village, California. And a nice job, Klinsmann showing you some of his form. And Agus and Effenberg down in the midfield area.
I think Effenberg pulled that one out from nowhere because he really was the player that was obstructing.
He's the bad boy of German soccer, Seamus.
Yeah, he is a little bit, indeed, got a reputation for being a little bit outspoken. Once said that the teams running up against him would not win the Bundesliga because, why? Because they were too stupid. Not exactly a diplomatic thing to say about your opponents, and he's had a hard time living that down.
Free kick situation now for Germany.
Yeah, it's a little far out for a shot on goal, but you never know with these guys. They were whacking them from 40 yards yesterday.
Whoa. Blasted over the top of the save by Meola as Christian Ziege on the indirect kick. And Tony Meola once again showing his athletic ability at 6'2", 205 pounds.
Big time save by Tony Meola because this ball was struck right on center, which causes it to knuckle. Tony having to go full extension, reach up and tip that ball over the crossbar.
Now the corner kick for Germany.
Yeah, once again we see Schulz in front of the goalkeeper Meola.
Meola comes out after it, tips it away across the goal line, and so another corner upcoming.
Tony's got to dominate that little box area, the goal area. He has got to be in charge there. He's got to bark out my ball. He's got to come out. He's got to command that area.
Uwe Bein takes the left-footed corner, headed out right there by Clavijo. I'll tell you what, Schulz gave him a shot from behind, but Wegerle across midfield tried to send it down to Ramos on the left wing, and it got away from him.
He mishit it. I think he mishit it.
He mishit it, but that's not the type of pass that Tab Ramos likes to get. He wants the ball to his feet. He doesn't want to have to try and outrun people and get in behind them.
1-1, Germany and the United States, and the clock counting up from 0 to 45 is unofficial. It doesn't include injury time, and we've had some stoppage because of injury time as the battle over on the far side by Ziege of Germany.
With Tony mishandling a couple of the crosses, the one just before where he was able to deflect it out of bounds over for another corner kick, as well as the one that resulted in a goal, expect the Germans to drop the ball right back in there somewhere in the vicinity of the 6-yard box because Tony hasn't distinguished himself in coming off of his line and playing that ball very well.
Well, now the Germans have pulled out from the goal area. They're all on the outside, which means they either run in close a goal or they'll hang back and wait for a wide ball.
Matthäus, the corner. Doyle heads it out. Nice job by Big John Doyle, who is not feeling all that well today. He had a 24-hour virus. And Harkes battling. Dangerous ball there as Lapper will send it out. But once again, it was just sent out into a general area, Rick, not at a specific player.
And that's what the United States team has to do because you can't keep giving the ball back to Germany. They'll come at you like nothing you've ever seen before.
The long cross over to Ziege. The header, the score!
We talked about his ability to use his head, but we talked about it in conjunction with his jumping ability. Well, there we saw his diving ability. Riedle is just a goal scorer by instinct, and you serve it anywhere near him, he's going to get a head on it, a foot on it, and Tony really with not much of a chance there because a terrific diving header from Riedle.
Seamus, what you want to do as a defender is always keep yourself between the man with the ball and the guy you're guarding. John Doyle lets Riedle get inside of him, therefore getting a beat on the ball and able to direct it on target.
And Ziege with a very high-quality service in here, and a wonderful diving header. Just a classy goal. We've had 2 super goals out of the 3. The first one a little bit sloppy, but the last 2 have been beautiful to see.
Riedle, 27 years of age, plays for Lazio in Rome, and a veteran goal scorer. His 31st international appearance, his 12th international goal, and he has been around the ball so far this afternoon here at Soldier Field in Chicago, and it's now a relentless German attack. Inside. Dangerous play, and the United States, John Doyle is down. Riedle was there once again, and Doyle is down right in front of the goal. Doyle took an elbow to the head. He had a black eye in that game the other night against England, and as we mentioned a moment ago, was not feeling well all day yesterday and last night. So he is sitting up now, and Rudy Radowski, the trainer for the U.S., out checking him over. Today's game is brought to you by the Illinois Bureau of Tourism. Illinois, don't miss it. And by Budweiser. Fresh, pure, natural. Proud to be your bud. The next segment of the game is presented commercial-free by Budweiser.
Anytime you get these 2 teams matching up, boy, bodies are going to clash. This play comes out from the left side of the field, crossed in behind. Very well, an excellent dummy here by number 15 for Germany, Uwe Bein. John Doyle keeping himself in between the 2 players, making sure that he didn't get a chance to touch or redirect that ball to the goal. The bodies are going to just crush against each other all game long.
Well, he ran into Meola's knee, and Tony was the first one out there telling everybody that we've got an injured player because he felt how hard Doyle's hit. But you've got to have a hard head, Rick, to play this game, hitting headers and such.
No question about it. In fact, you form a callus on your forehead, which can be an unattractive thing to have.
Does this remind you, Rick, of your days playing against the German national team?
Unfortunately, Roger, what I remember of...
As the long ball comes in, Meola, the great save! Was that big by Tony Meola?
Lothar Matthäus getting forward there. When the United States tried to pull him offside, they moved up, they didn't move up fast enough, and that long ball over the top victimized him. He got under it, but what a tremendous stop. Look at this shot, and a great save by Meola. You got to think that Matthäus should have put that one away in the far corner, frankly, but still, Tony did a great job coming out, narrowing the angle, and blocking it.
Big time save there by Tony Meola, because that's what you rely upon with your goalkeeper, that when you do make mistakes, opportunities are created for the other team. You need your goalkeeper to make the saves to keep you in the game.
Schulz with the long throw-in, and Armstrong able to get it to Dooley. The United States trailing 2-1. Thomas Dooley with the goal for the United States. Riedle got the go-ahead goal. Klinsmann the initial goal for Germany.
Lovely head back there to Effenberg by Strunz. Strunz, number 19, plays way over the right side, combines nicely with Effenberg, and Effenberg puts pressure on Harkes, and Harkes makes the bad pass. Effenberg having a very good game in midfield for the Germans.
That's the thing, Seamus, that I find most noticeable as Riedle is down there and Meola has to come out, is the fact that the passing by the Germans has a purpose to it at all times, whereas some of the passes made by the U.S. team, you don't know exactly what the purpose is. It's just almost like getting it away.
Yeah, and that's the kind of style they've been trying to get away from. It's actually not a style, but it's essentially a maturity. And they are maturing now as international players. And when they get the best ones back from Europe to play with them, then they can play a bit more together the way they did against England. But today, they're under a lot of pressure from this relentless German attack. And it's a little hard to keep your cool and keep your concentration.
To finish the question, Roger, that you mentioned to me is the difference between the U.S. team of today. A lot what Seamus is saying is that if we would have gone down 1-0 to them 10 years ago when I played with the program, we would have been packing our bags and hoping that we wouldn't have lost by too much. This team, totally different than that. You go down by a goal, you turn around, you come right back by getting your own.
2-1. Germany leads the United States. The nice run by Strunz. Lapper doing battle. Dangerous Jürgen Klinsmann to Effenberg. Looking for Riedle, and Clavijo sends it out. But Ziege is able to maintain control, and once again the very methodical German side. It wasn't there in the middle. They send it back to the side. Now they work it back around. Ball possession today, Rick, has to be 2-1 in favor of Germany.
Which is exactly the way that they like to play, Roger. They want to keep control of the ball. They want to work their game plan with possession, and they're doing an excellent job.
Kohler, the shot, the save! Score! Riedle!
What a blast from outside that set that one up. Riedle with the goal, with the easy rebound for Riedle to knock away. But a tremendous shot by Jürgen Kohler, who comes forward from his central defensive position to crack that shot off the crossbar. Look at this shot from about 20 yards, 25 yards under the crossbar, hits the crossbar, comes down, not over the line, but Riedle, ever the opportunist, ready to knock it in.
And Seamus, you got to remember, anytime there's a shot back towards your goal, you've got to follow the ball. The shot here is a blast. Tony deflecting it off the post, but Riedle follows the shot up, whereas John Doyle slows down a little bit, and he's got himself a wide open tap in front of the goal.
Look at this shot, and watch this touch by Meola. If we can just see it, a little touch down off the crossbar. That's an interesting shot, and it's very easy there for Riedle to just sprint in and knock it away. But again, Doyle a bit slow in reacting. John Doyle just simply isn't himself, I don't think. That 24-hour flu bug we've heard about really is hurting his play.
Here comes Effenberg. Lapper giving chase, got a piece of it. Harkes now sends it to the middle, and Doyle just knocks it back out. So once again, Germany maintaining possession. They are controlling this game as that goal in the 40th minute. And Germany leads 3-1 as Matthäus sends it out wild to Ziege. And long crossing ball.
That's how to play.
Across the goal line, and Tony Meola has done just about everything he can today. The pressure has been constant, but Riedle with his second goal, Meola with 5 saves, and it's 3-1 Germany. Now the question is, Rick, can they come back and make it 3-2? Let's see where they've come from the last 10 years.
The team has shown that they've got the ability to come back. The difference is when you play against a Germany, boy, if you can prove your worth in that particular situation, you've proved it against the best.
United States going to have the throw-in coming up. They just have not been in front of Köpke and that German defense, but on 2 or 3 occasions so far today, they cashed in on one. Ramos, nice job dribbling the ball. He's in the box. Ramos driven off the ball, centers to Harkes, and kicked back out by the Germans. And Klinsmann taken down by Lapper, but the Germans once again with Effenberg on the wing. Armstrong trying to get back. The save by Meola as Harkes heads it back into Tony Meola. And man, he's got to be reeling right now.
Well, you know, Tony loves this. I mean, the good goalkeepers obviously don't want to give up goals, but they want to be in the action. They don't like waiting for it to happen. And he's certainly getting his wish today. But look at these shots. You know, a huge 5-to-1 ratio in favor of Germany. But every time Tab Ramos gets the ball in midfield, the U.S. start to look a little dangerous.
Armstrong will send it down to Clavijo. And the tackle on the far side, and the throw-in. I want to remind you, coming up next, ABC Sports heads to the Motor City as IndyCar's best hit the streets for the ITT Automotive Detroit Grand Prix. And later at 5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central and Pacific, take an inside look at Paul's National Championship as the shot by Dooley and the save. Dooley again loses it. U.S. Open preview show coming up later today here on ABC Sports. A long ball down, and offsides the call. So once again, that U.S. Open preview show with Jack Nicklaus coming up later today here on ABC Sports. But once again, Thomas Dooley having a very good opportunity in the box.
Well, a tremendous mistake by the German defense. We've talked about the Americans making some mistakes getting on their first touch out of defense. There, the Germans coughed the ball right up to Tom Dooley. I think he was so shocked he just didn't really get a good, strong foot on it.
Klinsmann with a lot of space on the near side. Lapper is over there. The center, the shot, the save by Tony Meola, as Uwe Bein was the man that took the shot from just outside the arc. And Meola shrugs his shoulders now with 7 saves in the first half.
And Tony's down there saying, oh, I love to be involved in the action, but hey guys, how about a little action up at the other end of the field?
There's a long ball, the offsides call. You know, there's been a real battle between Tony Meola and Brad Riedle for the goalkeepers. Riedle has looked very impressive, Rick, every time he's had a chance to play. And Meola was given the starting nod for this U.S. Cup, and Riedle will probably see a lot of action down in South America when they go down for the Copa and then the CONCACAF.
And the goalkeeping position is so important for a goalkeeper to have a lot of confidence about his play. Tony, with the game he had against England, you can see him out here now today. He's got confidence, he's hot, and the more he can play, the better off he's going to be.
We are now in injury time. Remember, we had a couple stoppages, so there's 3 or 4 extra minutes as Dooley in the midfield with Armstrong now. Time is kept down on the field by the referee, so the clock has stopped, and we are in injury time. 3-1, Germany leads the United States as they've dominated possession of the ball in this game. They are the defending world champions. Armstrong will send it down, and Köpke comes over.
And Desmond's not the guy that you want to be playing that ball forward, because untypical of what many sweepers are to teams, Desmond is more, I think, there for his defensive abilities rather than going forward.
Armstrong, a artist in his spare time, very much one with the creative flair.
And the Germans, of course, now very much in control, up by 2 goals. This is the kind of situation which is very much in their favor. They like to be patient anyhow and stroke it around, and they're just going to wait for mistakes and try to add to their lead, but they're not going to force anything.
Well, Doyle definitely has the size over Riedle, Seamus, but Riedle with the quickness to match, and the loose ball and the whistle and the foul.
Well, here's another
direct free kick upcoming.
Direct free kick. The U.S. will have to set up their wall here to block off one half of the goal and leave Meola to deal with the blast from outside that we sort of expect from the Germans.
Seems always to be a problem, Rick, lining those players up 10 yards away from the ball.
We get a good look at Tony telling the players that he wants to have 5 guys in the wall. He's anticipating maybe a little bit from before a big-time shot, so he wants more people there to block more of the goal.
Ziege is 17.
Now they've got a different play on here, yeah.
And Ramos came out to get a boot on it. Effenberg battling, wins the battle. Now it's knocked across the goal line. It's going to be a corner upcoming for the German side.
And they're just relentless. When they come at you, they just keep coming and coming.
Rick, you were talking about their set plays in practice the other day.
Yeah, exactly. What they're trying to do is on this corner kick is get the ball in for a person to have a chance at a shot.
Oh, a miss right there. Lothar Matthäus just simply almost whiffed it and tackled away, and the foul on Schulz, and the United States will take possession.
But the defensive pursuit of Harkes there was what really caused him to have to slow down, because 2 players, Schulz and Matthäus, recovered from that mistake by Matthäus, but eventually Harkes lost it.
And there is time. We have completed the first half of play here at Soldier Field in Chicago. U.S. Cup 93. Germany leads the United States by the score of 3-1. In Chicago, the first ever meeting between the United States and the defending world champions from Germany. Well, next summer, beginning June 17th, for the first time in its history, the World Cup is coming to the United States. The qualifying phase for World Cup 94 is well underway, with matches taking place in 6 qualification zones. Mexico, Greece, and Russia have already clinched 3 of the 22 slots available to join host the United States and defending champion Germany. In 9 venues across America, the 24 finalists will contest 52 matches in 31 days. ABC Sports and ESPN together will televise all 52 matches. ABC's 11 weekend matches will debut with the first indoor match in World Cup history in the United States opener in the newly sodded Pontiac Silverdome, and culminate with the World Cup final on July 17th at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. And we welcome you here at halftime. And joining me right now, the man who's the chairman of the organizing committee for World Cup '94, Alan Rothenberg. And Alan, it was announced today that tickets are going fast and furious for World Cup '94.
It's absolutely incredible. We put tickets on sale for the Stadium Series yesterday to the general public. The allocation in Washington, D.C. and Chicago sold out in less than 4 hours. We put the rest of the stadiums on sale today. Giant Stadium is sold out within the first 2 hours, and people just can't get through on the phones everywhere else in the country. It's just a phenomenal success.
So what happens to the fan who's watching this today and say, hey, this looks pretty exciting, I'd like to watch the World Cup? Any chance for him?
Well, there'll be more tickets on sale later in the year, but of course ABC is going to be televising 11 of the matches live, and ESPN the other 41. So anybody who can't get a ticket will be able to see the matches live on television in 1994.
Well, 94 is looking pretty good. The U.S. down by 2 goals at halftime, but it's been exciting.
It's been great. We did this tournament to give us the competitive experience, and the Germans are making sure that we learn. That win the other night against England gave us a great boost. As good as the Germans are, we're still in there with them, and we can still make a game of it.
Okay, Alan, thank you very much. Good luck to you this next year.
Thank you, Roger.
Okay, Alan Rothenberg. And we're going to tell you, we're going to be back with more U.S. Cup soccer after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Back at halftime at Soldier Field in Chicago, Germany leads the United States 3-1 along with Seamus Mallon and Rick Davis. I'm Roger Schwabel. Germany got on the board first in the 14th minute by Klinsmann, but then Rick, Thomas Dooley got the U.S. back in business.
Thomas Dooley shows how important it is to know how to move forward. Roy Wegerle, excellent control of the ball. Thomas Dooley timing his run perfectly to just tap that ball into the goal, and the celebration starts. Certainly from a goalkeeper's perspective, you don't like to see this happen a lot. Thomas Dooley's finishing his shot into the goal.
And 10 men on the field as Uwe Bein was off for an injury, trying to get back on at that time. But that tie didn't last very long, Seamus, as the Germans came right back, and they were relentless in that first half.
Well, and the third goal is really a backbreaker, because if you're down 2-1, you figure you've got a fighting chance. But look at this. Jürgen Kohler dekes out 2 American defenders, comes forward from the back. They don't expect to see him up there. And then he unleashes this powerful drive that Meola does well to touch onto the crossbar, but an easy put away for Riedle.
And Germany leads the United States 3-1. We'll be back with the second half kickoff right after this.
Single sporting event. World Cup soccer. Call now for tickets. 800-769-1994. 800-769-1994. World Cup soccer. Don't miss it for the world. Call now for tickets. 800-769-1994.
Just getting set to start the second half. Germany leading the United States by a score of 3-1. And let's take a look at first half statistics. Look at those shots. 18 for Germany, 4 for the United States. In their game against England the other night, England took 18 in the entire game, and the U.S. had 7. Just to give you an example, and 3 of the 4 U.S. shots were taken by Thomas Dooley, the other by Harkes. 7 saves by Meola, 2 by Köpke. The corner kicks, 7 for Germany, and the offsides 3. So Rick Davis, Germany really dominating ball possession and the attack in that first half.
Typically, Roger, the stats that end up being the most indicative of the flow of play are shots and corners. Germany with a huge margin or an advantage over the U.S. team there.
As Tony Meola, suffering from a bit of shell shock, but nonetheless did a pretty good job, Seamus, I think, in that first half, all things considered.
Loosening up for round 2. And it really has been a war at his end. Well, you know, the Germans in the last 5 World Cups have won 2 and have finished second twice. I mean, that's a phenomenal record. And here the United States made 1 appearance in 40 years in the World Cup in 1990. So we're still quite a distance apart.
We're underway with the second half. The long ball goes down to Klinsmann. He got the first goal. He's opened the shot, and it's off Lapper. And the United States with Thomas Dooley will take it down in the midfield area. Ramos has it taken away, and Germany, Rick, just doesn't like anybody to get back past midfield. They like to stay in that other end.
They like to establish the first line of defense about a third the way down the field, not wanting to give the United States team the opportunity to develop their attack. For the United States, it's important that they do that. It's important for them coming out here in the second half that they breed more caution in working the ball out from their defense.
Seamus, give me an overview of the German side in the first half. Did they accomplish what they wanted to do? What do you think about the second half?
Well, I think they accomplished much of what they wanted to do. They probably feel they should have had a couple more goals, but they certainly have dictated the style of play that they want. They've done very well on the attack, and they've been able to isolate American midfielders most of the time in situations where they're under pressure and therefore can win the ball back.
Wegerle gives chase, and Köpke will come out. Meanwhile, Rick, what about the United States effort in the first half, and what do they have to do different in the second?
Roger, I think what they need to do in the second half is a couple of things. Number one is anticipate them to tire a little bit. They were under a tremendous amount of pressure. I would think that we will see some substitutions a little bit later on as this game goes forward. Secondly is that count the number of times that the U.S. players make 1- and 2-touch passes. They're getting stuck with the ball, they're holding it too long, and that just allows the German team to get set defensively that much more with more time.
In the lower right-hand corner of your screen, the running time from 0 to 45 here in the second half. The United States, throughout the U.S. Cup, the first two games, Coach Bora has substituted primarily with Earnie Stewart, Cobi Jones, Alexi Lalas. So we should see some substitutes as this ball is in the box. Klinsmann tried to battle, but three U.S. players around him that time, Armstrong, Lapper, and Clavijo. Defensively, does Doyle get some help against Riedle?
John and Mike Lapper both are going to need some help because matching up 1 against 1 is very difficult covering against these guys.
There's Alexi Lalas, who is warming up now on the sideline. Lalas from Rutgers University, a very, very talented player, has, of course, scored against England the second goal, and then against Colombia in Miami in early May. Had a nice goal off a corner kick as the ball goes to the corner, and Clavijo will send it out. Another game being played in U.S. Cup 93, and in the second half, England now has jumped out on Brazil 1-0. And Seamus, what a big win that would be for England. That would redeem something, wouldn't it, after the loss to the United States?
Well, David Platt scored in the 47th minute, and of course he's been injured and hasn't played much, and he's a tremendous player for England. Great character and great skill. That's a big boost to England in a very tough time for them.
8th corner today for Germany. Uwe Bein will take it. U.S. wins the battle as Clavijo tackled from behind. No foul, and now they do call it.
The referee there opting to try and allow the United States team to have the advantage, which simply is to allow the play to go on. When he saw that the U.S. team lost possession, he appropriately called the play back and instituted the free kick for the U.S. team.
But once again, the U.S., Rick, slow in coming out. I mean, the pace of the charge from the back was just too slow, and makes it a little bit easier for those chasing Germans to catch up with the U.S. players. Got to get out of there fast and move the ball a bit quicker.
Armstrong gets it to Harkes with a lot of green shirts around him. Now the United States with Clavijo and Ramos. Ramos can't quite get it to the center. Taken away there by Riedle, who not only is a great offensive player, he showed you some defensive work right there. Riedle, guys, if you can believe it or not, is a fully qualified butcher. And he has certainly cut up the United States defense today. Riedle, a prolific goal scorer, as Wynalda fits that bill for the United States. Sort of clogged up in the midfield area right now. The Germans very stubborn about giving any room. And they'll send it back to Köpke.
And quick play, releasing passes into open space, changing the side of the field that they're attacking from are ingredients that the United States team must start to use.
Now the touch. Matthäus. Armstrong able to get a piece of the ball, and once again they were trying to find Riedle. But Desmond Armstrong, the veteran from Columbia, Maryland, was able to fight him off, and Tony Meola with the goal kick. Armstrong, as I mentioned, taking the place of Marcelo Balboa, out with the injured right knee, should return to the team in the fall. tore up that knee against Iceland in the first minute of a friendly match out in Costa Mesa, California. Wynalda on the run, but tackled away by Schulz, and the foul's called. And the direct kick coming up for the United States. Schulz is an intimidating looking player. I had a chance yesterday. He was standing near Detlef Schrempf, the great German player who plays for the Indiana Pacers in the NBA, who's here at the game. And tackled off the ball is Doyle. And it's going to be a corner for the United States.
Well, that was an unusual situation, Rick. I can't remember last when I saw John Doyle decide he can go one-on-one. Never mind against a player like Ziege, but he won a corner.
Somebody once told me the way that a defender dribbles is he gives it to the other player, wins it back at a tackle, and keeps going up the field.
Just the second corner kick for the United States. Agus will take it. To the short side. In the air, Lapper. The battle and headed out by the Germans, and with some clear sailing is Uwe Bein. Matthäus will send a long ball to Schulz. Nice trap. Gets the center. Oh, a little bicycle kick right there attempted. As Germany maintains control, and the shot over the top by Jürgen Klinsmann.
Well,
Klinsmann is very fond of the United States. He spent a lot of time, Seamus, traveling throughout the States.
He's a fascinating guy, Roger. He speaks French, Italian, German, of course, English. Very articulate guy. Likes to travel around the United States quietly. Loves California.
Plays in Monaco.
Plays in Monaco in front of about 5,000 people, but he's well compensated.
Well, as long as he's well compensated, Monaco's a beautiful place to be. There's a ball in the box that Desmond Armstrong gets a piece of. Now, the German media liaison, when asked his favorite place in the United States, said, "Oh, California dreamin'." So far this half, the battle has been in the midfield area. The U.S. seems to be a little bit more conscious, Seamus, of trying to control the ball, more short passes.
Yeah, they're trying to get themselves back into the game, and they're just, they're in such a disadvantage by being down 2 goals against a team that just loves to play and play it around.
That's Earnie Stewart,
and they're very good at doing that. So the U.S., in order to compete and play that kind of game against them, is going to play into their hands. Well,
Earnie Stewart and Alexi Lalas getting warmed up, and should be seeing them as we're about 10 minutes into the second half. Germany leads the United States 3-1. Germany, the defending World Cup champions. But, in the last year, their record not all that impressive in international play. 6-3-4. They haven't, Seamus, been absolutely running over people. They've had some tough battles, and Brazil gave them one the other day, a 3-3 tie. They lead the United States by 2 goals. Today's game is brought to you by Snickers, the official snack food of the 1994 World Cup. Packed with peanuts, Snickers really satisfies. And by Adidas. Adidas is out to change soccer in America. The next segment of the game is presented commercial-free by Sprint. Along with Rick Davis and Seamus Mallon, I'm Roger Twibell at Soldier Field in Chicago. Crowd of around 50,000 today for this U.S. Cup 93 match between the United States and Germany, the first meeting ever between these two countries. The other teams, of course, Brazil and England. We showed you a moment ago England leading Brazil 1-0 in the second half. I don't know if those English players want to go back to England unless they can come up with a win in this tournament.
Well, if they come up with a win against Brazil, they certainly have done an amazing feat, because Brazil looked so talented, and especially the first half against Germany, didn't have too much trouble defeating the USA either. And it's just inconceivable to me that England will be able to turn around and knock them off. Now, it's still 1-0, or it was 1-0 a few minutes ago, so we'll see how it turns out. But it's encouraging for England anyhow. Clavijo
marking, the ball sent in by Ziege as Tony Meola comes up with the easy save right there. Now Clavijo gets it to Armstrong, and the United States has really not been able to penetrate the German end of the field in the second half as Ramos is tackled off the ball, and a big piece of sod comes flying up as Lothar Matthäus. That was the sliding tackle.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned Matthäus had marked Maradona in the '86 final, so we have 2 players on the field who marked Maradona and 1 player in the booth Tell us about it, Rick.
Actually, I had to mark him a couple times. Boy, you talk about the epitome of intimidation.
Harkes gets it to the far side. Agus in the box, headed back out by the Germans. And quickly, things develop after the good defensive play by the German side, how they open the field up, they find some space, and put the pressure on the U.S. defense. And Tony Meola, as Matthäus sends it in, and a couple of rather easy saves for Tony so far this half.
And I bet you Tony's breathing a sigh of relief. Routine saves, but don't discount how dangerous that type of shot is, because the way Lothar Matthäus is striking it has a lot of overspin, which then therefore creates the opportunity for it to dip in behind Tony coming off of his line.
Across the near side touch line and the throw-in for the United States. Seamus, they really defend the throw-in awfully close, don't they? They don't give you any room on that play.
No, they don't. They just about give you the touch back to the thrower, and that's all you get from them. There's another crunching tackle in midfield, this time by Ziege.
And Matthäus, Armstrong coming over. Ziege. Touch and go. Harkes is able to dribble it out of the box. John Harkes. Plays for Sheffield Wednesday.
John Harkes read that play from a mile away.
Now Armstrong got the ball to Wegerle upfield, and Wynalda. They really use the Germans, that sideline, as another defender, don't they?
Well, that's what all of the best players can do. They know it can help them a great deal. And John Harkes, there's a good ball through.
To Wegerle from Ramos. And Wegerle looked a bit indecisive on that play as Köpke came out towards it.
And Roger, I think two people were indecisive about that play. Not only Köpke in goal, but also the referee or the linesman not making the offside call. Tabb playing the ball, nice little swerve, keeping it from running away, Roy Wegerle. In behind the defense, Roy runs on, doesn't quite get there, but Köpke very, very slow, Seamus, to come off of his line.
Yeah, and I think also Wegerle slowed down a step or two there, anticipating the ball was going to drop a little closer for him. Now here's the U.S. corner kick. Let's see if they try the near post stuff. They got Doyle coming to the near post.
Agus with the corner kick and doesn't get enough on it, and headed out easily by the Germans. And the battle won on the near side by Klinsmann. Taken off the ball, and the referee waving back to the far side as Wegerle will get it to Harkes.
Boy, that was a critical tackle. The Germans had three players breaking through the center circle there. That would have set up a great chance for a fourth goal.
Dooley has it taken away.
What about the fatigue factor here, Rick? The U.S. players have done a tremendous amount of defensive running here.
There's a man open on the far side. Effenberg, Armstrong giving chase. And the Germans with space to center. They had to score! Riedle!
Well, if you're going to be able to execute like that, defenders have got to be a little bit more controlled about their runs and their tackles and so forth. Meola had really no chance there. But look at Effenberg, wide open, once again ghosting through at the back. Nobody tracked him down. Armstrong comes over, doesn't get close enough to him, and once again nobody trailing Riedle closely enough, and it's an easy diving header for him. Armstrong goes over. He's in a lot of trouble here because Effenberg has the skill to go around him, so he slows down. Instead, the quality cross, and Riedle just beautifully nodding it home for the fourth goal.
And Seamus, also important to note is that John Doyle leaves his man, gets caught trying to track both the ball and the player. Riedle ends up setting him up perfectly, cuts back to the back post, goes to the near post, has himself 2-3 yards of space, simply having to redirect the ball on goal.
And the United States has made a substitution. Earnie Stewart has checked into the game, and Wynalda has come out. So Stewart for the United States, who plays for Wilhelm II in the Dutch First Division. There's Earnie Stewart, who grew up in Point Arena, California. His father was a U.S. serviceman who has relocated back to the Netherlands. And Möller has checked in, number 7 now for Germany. So a couple of substitutions into the game. Effenberg has come off. So the United States now down 4-1 as Riedle with a hat trick on this day. Milutinovic said something interesting yesterday. Before, when the United States had played Brazil and they lost, he said, well, you have to understand who we played. It's just an honor to play a team like Brazil, so the result wasn't so bad. After the win against England, he said, now on any given day, I think our team has a chance to compete and win against the top teams in the world. That's a change in attitude, not just for Bora, but it's a change in attitude for the players.
And part of that is exactly what Bora Milutinovic brings to the U.S. team, an attitude of knowing that they can be successful.
Ramos, the centering ball, and nobody's there for the U.S. Harkes was sort of in the box. Wegerle back behind.
Well, Earnie Stewart's a good substitution here as we look at Tab Ramos. He was looking for Earnie because Earnie Stewart is somebody the Germans haven't seen. He's got a lot of speed, and he'll be different style from Wynalda.
Dooley takes it away at midfield. Tried to get it through to Stewart, couldn't do it. The German defense just too strong. I've got a question for both of you. When you're at this level, does it matter whether you get beat 2-0 or you get beat 6-1? I mean, as long as you're trying hard, you're playing aggressive. I mean, what's the attitude about that? I mean, Rick?
My feeling is you betcha. If you lose by 1, it's okay. You lose by 4 or 5, that's ugly. That's humiliating for you as a player. And so, yeah, absolutely, the United States team doesn't want to give up another goal, and they're going to fight all the way through this match.
Lapper was able to get on top of the ball. Clavijo took it away.
Well, but Klinsmann is just such a threat every time he's on the ball. As we look at Schulz here, shots on goal. Whoa, my goodness, shots and on goal. 22, of which 12 were on goal. USA with only 3 on goal, and that tells it. The statistics don't always tell the story in this game as they didn't in USA-England, but today they sure do.
So at the 15-minute mark, the United States trailing 4-1. You have a measuring stick, though, Seamus, when you play the defending world champions. You find out exactly what it takes to compete and eventually try to beat these players. It's once again a nice ball, and the dangerous play in Meola comes out to take it away from Uwe Bein.
Well, once again, Klinsmann, I just started to say, Klinsmann has so many weapons. He made a great pass in there when all day long he's been taking balls, turning and going for goal. That time he made a first touch pass to another German player, completely surprising Lapper. And there's just too much quality and talent in Klinsmann to be able to, for a relatively young player like Lapper, to be able to take care of him for 90 minutes or perhaps even for 45.
Seamus, the question I asked both of you about the score of a game. I guess what I want to try to find out is if you lose a game 2-0 and you just sit back and make no offensive attack, you just try to protect your goal. But if you lose a game 4 or 5-1 as the long ball comes down the far side and you're aggressive and you're going forward at times, I mean, is there a difference there?
We're going to let him play on here.
To Ziege, and it's kicked away by Clavijo.
I think it comes down to the mentality of the players. I think Rick's point is still well taken. There's not a lot of joy in defending and losing 2-0. There's a certain amount more of satisfaction of going forward and trying to do something. But still, you don't like to look up at that scoreboard when you walk out and see that large number on the other side. Now let's see what the Germans do in a corner kick here. Matthäus set up the first goal when he put one across for Klinsmann. And let's see if he goes again to the far post where Klinsmann is trying to lurk.
9th corner kick for Germany, and Meola goes up high as Klinsmann was there. Seamus.
Yeah, Tony doing very well that time, anticipating exactly where that ball was swerving, and it was swerving for that man Klinsmann, who's had a tremendous game with 1 goal.
10 saves so far today for Tony Meola. Stewart tries to go up high, but Schulz just too big for him. And Dooley will bring it down. And once again, a pass that just goes nowhere.
And Riedle, of course, with the hat trick. I don't know if we mentioned that.
Yes.
All 3 with his head. Yes, okay.
Yes, and the hat trick. Or is that a head trick, James?
And that's not to confuse it with the cap trick. That's in international caps.
Germany playing some long balls back and forth across the field, trying to create some space. Dooley intercepts, but Wegerle able to get it, and Harkes. Harkes, and a good job there taken away by Guido Buchwald. Nice job of defense. Klinsmann sends it on. Möller, the center, Riedle, and tripped up there, and a good job by Doyle.
I think they're calling a foul on Riedle for taking down Doyle there. But this problem comes because John Harkes did not give the ball to Jeff Agus way at the top, and this opened up the space for the break. Here you see that give and go. There's no space there because Agus has gone forward. Look at all that room for Möller to run into, and then the good retreating run there by Doyle to cut away Riedle, and Riedle fouled him.
And getting ready to check into the game for the United States right now is Alexi Lalas. Number 22, Lalas, who has been a factor for the United States side, a very exciting player, 6'3", 195 pounds, played collegiately at Rutgers University. Jeff Agus comes out of the game. So Lalas, we saw the flowing red hair. He's a member of a band called the Gypsies, and I think with that goatee and red hair, with a beret and turtleneck, he'd feel comfortable in any coffee shop in San Francisco or Paris.
He also was quite an ice hockey player until Bob Riasso, the Rutgers soccer coach, finally talked some sense into him to put that aside and come out and play some soccer. And he's been great for Rutgers, and he's really coming on strong for the U.S. That was a super goal he scored against England off the corner kick from Tab Ramos in the middle of the second half, and that really clinched the game for the U.S.
Won the Herman Award at Rutgers. That's the NCAA award, the equivalent to the Heisman Trophy in football. As Germany just keeps pressing on against the United States. Ramos able to get it to Harkes. Rick, what have they done now with the substitutions as the ball goes down to Stewart? Earnie Stewart in front, but stripped away. Stewart still giving battle, but fought off there, and a nice job by Jürgen Kohler. With those substitutions, any change in the alignment for the United States?
Roger, I think simply put, the changes are merited based on guys being tired, and Bora's trying to get some fresh legs in there to try and create a little bit of a spark. As you watch the U.S. team players out there, a little bit longer stride as they run, a little bit more of an effort to things that they do, and I think that this is what Germany does to teams all over the world. They just simply wear you down by keep going and going and going, and they just keep coming and coming.
This is typical German play. Knock it from one side of the field, then to the other, and they'll pass at the end uncharacteristically off the mark for the Germans, but wisely let run through there by Desmond Armstrong, because Meola, of course, right behind him to knock it away. But it's with a 4-1 lead, it's almost a kind of a fun time now for the Germans. They don't want to give up goal, but they'll be quite happy with this final if it ends up 4-1.
Wegerle to Alexi Lalas. John Doyle has the ball taken away from behind, and rather easily, I might add, by Guido Buchwald, pushing and shoving going on between those two. Now the long ball down the middle, and Lapper is able to get it back out to Lalas at midfield. The United States has had a couple of corner kicks in the second half as Dooley is pushed off the ball in the foul, and it'll be a direct kick coming up for the United States.
This game has a lot of the same type of a look I remember in playing in a game in the 1988 Olympics against the then Soviet Union, as Germany's about ready to make a substitution.
Karlheinz Pflipsen is getting set to check in, and he will come in right now for Klinsmann.
Klinsmann comes out. Well, maybe he'll head straight for the highway and continue his American tour.
Well, a number of the German players, including Bertie Folks, their head coach, are going to holiday in the United States for up to 6 weeks.
They might look for Lalas here, because I don't know if he's going to be able to shoot, but he might flip it.
Ramos, right off the wall, is able to maintain control, and Wegerle comes away. Wegerle in the box. Dooley cannot get up for the head. It's punched back out by the Germans. Oh, nice move in the middle right there. Pflipsen made a nice move to get it to Riedle. Armstrong takes him off the ball. So Armstrong that time battling with Riedle, and no one has been able to stop. Karl-Heinz Riedle so far today with the head trick, if you will.
And that's a situation where I think, as we get a look at Desmond Armstrong and Riedle there, that Desmond is better suited for. He's better in a one-on-one matchup with somebody where he can match speed stride for stride rather than trying to play the role of a real sweeper, and that is anticipate plays.
Moeller, the corner kick. Headed out by Harkes, and Moeller will get it right back. Centering ball, and Desmond Armstrong is able to control after the centering shot by Pflipsen. Harkes just sends it back pass rule. Seamus, a change about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Meola cannot use his hands there because the ball was played back to him by a teammate who used his feet.
But if it's headed back, then he can. Today's game is brought to you by the Illinois Bureau of Tourism. Illinois, don't miss it. And by Budweiser, fresh, pure, natural, proud to be your bud. The next segment of the game is presented commercial-free by World Cup USA 94, and it's a goal by Earnie Stewart. Don't miss it for the world, folks. Earnie Stewart with his first goal in international play.
This play starts by Mike Lapper just pounding the ball down the field. What does an Earnie Stewart do to your team? Speed. Running on to the end of that pass. Köpke coming out of his goal. Earnie just slots it into a completely empty net.
Tremendous speed by Stewart. This is just what we talked about, how he would give a different look from Wynalda. Puts it between the keeper's legs and it rolls just over the line. But that's why Earnie Stewart is such an exciting addition, and frankly, very often a greater sub than a starter, because he's the kind of guy who really surprises you coming in off the bench. Great ball from Lapper, but a superb run by Stewart, very composed, which you got to have that composure, and just nudging it over the line there.
And an incredibly difficult shot to pull up.
Absolutely.
Because what an angle he had to shoot from.
There is a German player injured on the field. Being attended to, so we are in injury time right now as we near the 75th minute. As
I think it was Jürgen Kohler who was making that run. Jürgen Kohler was the one trying to keep up with Stewart, but that's an indication of what Stewart's got in the way of his speed, that he's able to outpace Jürgen Kohler, who was one of the premier defenders in Germany, and now, as I said earlier, playing for Juventus in the Italian league.
The problem as a player that you have in these situations is late in the game when you've been out there working away, full stride, trying to get the ball, he lunges to tackle the ball, and it appears that he either got kicked, cleated, or possibly even strained a muscle.
Oh, and did that have the perfect roll on it? That little touch by Earnie Stewart as Köpke came out to challenge him. And Earnie Stewart in his 10th international match. Kohler limping off the field, and coming in is Thomas Helmer, number 3. Helmer checking in, number 3.
Well, Helmer will go in to play sweeper. You see Helmer on the ball right now. He played sweeper. He's played sweeper a number of times for Germany. They really haven't solved that problem. There's Helmer.
He scored the own goal
since in
the Brazil match.
Yes, that's exactly right. And of course, Beckenbauer, Franz Beckenbauer, the great German player, was the prototypical sweeper.
Some confusion on the far side for the United States as Pflipsen is wide open. He'll center it to the far side, and Harkes heads it across the near side touchline. It'll be a throw-in for Germany. So Earnie Stewart pulls the United States within 2 on his first international goal. And Germany has gone to some substitutes. And in all honesty, some of their top players out of the game right now, and this might be a chance for the United States to sneak back into this thing.
With a team like Germany, though, Roger, to say that some of their top players are out, they are so deep. They can field probably 2-3 quality national teams that could compete against just about anybody else in the world.
And they all work for each other. There are no prima donnas out there. Everybody works very hard. They work for each other. both when they have the ball and when they're trying to win it back, because it's not just one thing to tackle, but you got to have people around you helping out when you put pressure on. And look at this. This is typical ball control. They all take up positions where they've got all kinds of outlets, all kinds of options to pass to.
The clock in the lower right-hand corner is the unofficial time. Official time kept down on the field. The shot, the save by Meola. Lalas then boots it out as Pflipsen, once again, since he's come into the game, has made a lot of things happen. Matthäus in the midfield area. Handball. Looked like it might have been a handball. No call. And just wide of the net. Matthäus came through the middle with the shot on goal. And on the previous play, Pflipsen and Meola with the punch right there, and 11 saves for Tony Meola.
Tony opting just to block that away, because trying to catch those balls sometimes they just slip away from you. So if he's going to give a rebound, he wants to give a long rebound, which is why he tries to punch it away.
A lot of long crossing balls by the Germans today, which has created a lot of space on the field. Other game being played today in U.S. Cup 93 between England and Brazil has come back to tie it up in the second half. Santos scored in the 77th minute. 2 points for a win, 1 point for a draw. And that's something that could change by World Cup 94. They're thinking about giving 3 points for a win. That decision will be made in December rather than the 2 points, which they've always done.
I hope they give serious consideration to it, because I think it does mean wins are more important and people in the first round will play harder. Another substitution coming up.
Cobi Jones is standing on the sideline, and he's going to come in for Tab Ramos. So Ramos made a lot of good things happen today for the United States. And Cobi Jones and Earnie Stewart, the two fastest players, I'd probably give the edge to Cobi. As Doyle is all over the back of Riedle, and the foul is called.
That play by John Doyle there is about, 45, 50 minutes late, because he just absolutely hammers him. Maybe a little frustration from John Doyle there, trying to show Mr. Riedle that, you've shown me some few things, let me show you some things.
Exactly. It's about 3 goals too late, unfortunately.
Cobi Jones has checked into the game. Another substitute for the United States. Earnie Stewart also in there. Alexi Lalas has come in. The ball into the middle of the head and just wide as the German side just keeps pounding away. Andreas Möller that time with the shot as Harkes will come near side. 4-2. Germany leads the United States. That's Lalas, number 22. And the ball just set down in no specific direction. The Germans have been very adept at winning those balls, and now a German player is down on the near side as Doyle has been wreaking havoc once again. Maybe it's the old adage, if you can't stop them, hurt them.
Cobi Jones has come in with, and you mentioned Stewart being the 2 fastest players. Rick, there's an interesting contrast. Cobi's playing here in the United States, Stewart overseas. How do we reconcile that in terms of the development of our players for the upcoming World Cup? Which is the best direction for those players?
It's an interesting issue for the players individually to address, as well as the United States Soccer Federation collectively, because one of the problems that has existed within the United States over the last 7-8 years is that the professional level of game in the United States has not been at the level sufficient to continue the growth and the development of American players. Many of our players have in fact gone to pursue their wares abroad, where they can in turn hopefully develop at a little quicker pace by being put in a competitive environment. Roy Wegerle, John Harkes, Earnie Stewart are players that are examples of that. So Cobi Jones is a guy that has to, in fact, try and accomplish that same objective by playing here in the United States.
Well, the foul in the United States with possession is Cobi Jones. Played at UCLA, Westlake Village. Really a nice young guy.
Had a great Olympic Games for the United States in Barcelona. Played very well over there.
Long ball by Harkes into the box. The header! The score! Tom Dooley!
Unbelievable. Köpke says it didn't go in, but it sure did go in. What a day for Dooley. Roger, the German press at halftime were saying the final score will be 5-1.
Now the chant, USA.
John Harkes on the cross here. He plays it just long towards the back end of the goal. Thomas Dooley putting all kinds of power on that ball with his head, generating sufficient power to beat the goalkeeper from almost 15 yards away.
And a perfect header because he heads it down towards the goal line, which is difficult for the keeper to get to. So he has to get that bounce. It's almost impossible to get there and keep it out.
Unofficially, the 80th minute, Thomas Dooley's second goal of the day. And boy, that was a big-time play right there from way out in the box.
That's huge, and the angle that we've got here doesn't quite show the ball crossing the goal line because it is not important what the goalkeeper does. It is exactly what and where the ball is, and therefore the ball had gone across the plane that the goal line represented.
4-3, Germany leads the United States. The unofficial time in the lower right-hand portion of your screen, there has been some injury time, and a rejuvenated U.S. side is Wegerle with the steal, sending it down to Earnie Stewart. Stewart giving chase, kicked out by Köpke. And Schulz off of Cobi Jones. It'll be a throw-in for Germany. All of a sudden, this United States crowd with that goal by Dooley, really for the first time, you heard a little nationalistic support. I think sometimes we're a little reluctant to go into the USA chant. Rick, you've played all over the world. They're not reluctant in other parts of the world, but there's a great crowd here today. And this now has turned into a very close and exciting match as Dooley will get it to Doyle, and no one's out there for the U.S.
And Roger, the example that I've started to share earlier in the Olympic Games when we played against the then Soviet Union is very often it's difficult to be ahead by a couple of goals because you lose concentration.
Riedle was trying to move in, and Meola came away with it. Was there any doubt about this goal? No, it's in. Köpke trying to come up with it and can't. And the United States on the second goal by Thomas Dooley trails by 1, 4-3. And Seamus, now this German side, they've made a lot of substitutions, maybe a little bit disorganized for a few moments.
Well, they think they've certainly gotten a little bit lackadaisical out there. And I didn't think that they would give up a 17-yard header. That's almost unheard of. There's Bertie Folks looking a little bit concerned. They got to feel that they have the superior talent. I think we'd agree with that. But 4-3 all of a sudden is not the 5-1 that our friends from Germany were predicting at the half. And they were a little embarrassed that the U.S. even scored. Now they scored 2 more.
Doyle sends it down, but Schulz back in, and Doyle battling with Riedle. Armstrong loses it. The shot just wide. Christian Ziege of Germany was able to beat Armstrong and set the shot just wide.
Here's where you, as a player, you reach for that little bit of extra energy to go out there and put together some plays that may result in another scoring opportunity. I think both teams feeling plenty of fatigue and now really putting their guts on the table.
Well, I'll tell you, the big shocker here is that Germany's given up 6 goals in a week. Oops.
Oh, wow. Doyle is taken off the ball. Lapper comes up. And the foul on Armstrong.
Well, the referee is holding his hand up there, but I'm not sure if he's indicating it's indirect. I don't think so. I think he was just whistling to get the ball over towards him. It's
Earnie
probably
Stewart,
just a foul.
Earnie Stewart is down near the midfield area, and here's the foul.
Well, Doyle tries to get him and doesn't, and then the tackle by Armstrong, very definitely a late tackle, upending the German player. So it clearly is a direct free kick. So there's Stewart, who has done such a good job for the U.S. since he came on.
He made a lot of things happen in the Brazil game.
He's a great weapon off the bench. Now, once again, you've got to worry about the power of the Germans to shoot around this wall. The United States wall is supposed to block off half the goal for Meola, but they're very talented at swerving the ball around the wall or dipping it over the wall into the corner.
And Seamus, we saw them in practice yesterday. The objective here of what they did yesterday, and it looks like they're going to do the same here, is touch the ball short for the player to be able to hit the ball from around the side of the wall rather than trying to bend it from where it is right now.
Well, Möller is number 7. 3 men around the ball. And the Germans arguing about the players being 10 yards back. Now the referee is walking in. It looks like he's going to pull a card out. He's got a yellow card
Schulz.
out.
We got this hysterical matchup between Schulz and Cobi Jones.
Well, the referee has not decided who he's going to give the card. Now he has. Schulz got the yellow card.
Yeah, for pushing, trying to push Cobi Jones out of the wall. Now you can see the wall here is supposed to cover the right side of the goal. Let's see if it does.
Up and over the top. Möller took it.
Now, where Germany is missing today is Thomas Hessler, who is a wonderful player for Germany. He's not here because he's playing in Italy today. But he is the player who can just bend that foul around the wall into the corner of the net. He did it beautifully in the European Championship, so they miss him today.
United States now down in the German end. Brazil and England have finished in a 1-1 tie. No extra time, no overtime, no shootout in this U.S. Cup. So Brazil and England at RFK today tied at 1, and that's got to be somewhat of a moral victory for England after the loss to the United States. Unofficial time, remember, in the lower right-hand corner. Official time kept on the field. We've had 2 different injury times here in the second half of this game between the United States and Germany. Germany leading 4-3. They led 3-1 at the half. Lalas trying to battle for the ball. Sent to the near side to Ziege. Oh, and a nice sliding move by Dooley to get a piece of it. Thomas Dooley, this is a terrific story. I can't help but keep talking about him. 32 years of age. His father was an American serviceman, married a German woman. Thomas and his family were supposed to come to the United States. The father never came back, yet he always wanted to come to the United States and find his father. Found out that eventually his father had passed away, but still never lost his desire to come here and want to be involved in the United States soccer program. And he's got 2 goals today. He scored against England. He's got 3 goals in this U.S. Cup, and he's playing with an injured right foot. As Armstrong loses it, Riedle gets it to the near side, and offsides is the call.
And he's going to give up a $300,000 a year contract to come over here for considerably less than that.
The average U.S. team salary is about $75, but Rick, they have hired an agent now. As Earnie Stewart has the ball in the corner. Stewart deflected by a German player outside to Alexi Lalas, and they're going to call a pushing foul on Dooley. But I was going to mention the U.S. team has hired Lee Steinberg, who's famous for representing quarterbacks in the NFL.
They've hired him to represent their interest with U.S. soccer, and certainly what they're trying to accomplish is to make sure that their interests are well served within U.S. soccer's financial considerations.
Number 14, Michael Schulz, is down just outside the German box there. Attendance today at Soldier Field in Chicago, 53,549. So, well, terrific crowd on hand here today. And this is just an outstanding venue for soccer.
And what a great tournament this is. I mean, we had a 3-3 game the other night in Washington, Brazil, and Germany. Now we had a 4-3 game here today at the moment.
1-1 tie in Washington
and
today.
And a 2-0 victory for the United States over Germany. So they've been over par with 1 more game to go, of course, Germany and England on Saturday.
Germany with a 1-goal lead. Time now, a very big factor as we are in injury time. Doyle pops it up. Now Meola, remember, can't use his hands there, and he has to boot it downfield. So we are in injury time. Germany 4, the United States 3. Germany pushing ahead as Armstrong will come up with a loose ball in the box. Clavijo, Alexi Lalas heads it downfield. no U.S. players are in that area. And Köpke, who's had his hands full against Brazil and the United States. I want to remind you, tomorrow night, Forrest Sawyer hosts Day 1, now on its new night. Then Oscar winner Jodie Foster and Mark Harmon star in the network premiere of Stealing Home, all tomorrow night, right here on ABC. Roger Twibell, Seamus Mallon, Rick Davis with you at Soldier Field in Chicago. We're in injury time. Defending world champion Germany, leading the United States by 1. 4-3 is Harkes. We'll bring it up. Across the near side touchline. And it'll be a throw-in as Bora Milutinovic, the head coach for the United States, took this job a little over a year ago. Seamus, there had been some talk that maybe the job was becoming too much. Maybe there was talk of leaving. But in talking to him yesterday, he feels very up for this challenge and very excited about it.
Yeah, I know. I think he's added a tremendous amount to the players' confidence about learning to play better soccer, and that's an enormous contribution. And he's also had great results when he's had the best players together against good quality opposition.
Armstrong heads it back out. Well, Brazil with the tie against England now with 2 points. England finally gets a point. The United States got 2 points for the win. And if Germany does indeed win this game, they will have 4 points as the long ball comes in into Meola. So Brazil with the victory against the United States and then the tie today with 3 points. Germany with the tie, and if they hold on for the win, will be 3. Still in injury time. Wegerle battling, loses that battle, but Clavijo will take it down. And Wegerle loses it. Germany, and that's it. That is it. Germany has defeated the United States 4-3, but not before the United States and Thomas Dooley made it very interesting toward the end. And we'll be back to wrap things up here at Soldier Field in Chicago right after this. Match than Germany. They have 1 more point at this time. The U.S. is finished with 2 points, and if Germany beats England, they win the U.S. Cup with 93. The Germans outshot the Americans 28-7. Final score 4-3 for Rick Davis and Seamus Mallon. I'm Roger Twibell. We'll see you at World Cup 94.